is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new live episode broadcasting from Jeddah of Ask Huda, where I'll try my level best to answer your questions that I know the answers for. And you can call us on the numbers which will be displayed under the screen, inshallah, soon. Until we receive your first calls, we have a question from Ma'moon. And Ma'moon says, I have some hair growing on the chin, alhamdulillah, but I have 2 or 3 hair much longer than the rest. Am I sinful if I pluck them? There is a difference of opinion among scholars regarding the length of the beard. And the most authentic opinion which I follow, and which is the opinion of Sheikh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen and the great scholars of our recent times, it is not permissible to take any of the length of your beard. So if you have 2 or 3 beards that are longer than the others, Allah did not command you to have equal length. Some folks have a hair or 2, nothing else. And they say, can we remove it? No, keep it. They say, okay, can we do something to have more hair grown? Again, this is not mandatory. Allah did not order you to grow your beard. Allah Azza wa Jal ordered you as a male to leave it. Don't shave it. And the most authentic opinion is that do not trim it. And the 2 opinions, either you leave it as it is, or you have a grip, and whatever exceeds the grip, you can trim it. But as stated before, the most authentic opinion is that you should leave it as it is, untouched, as long as it is not harmful for your safety. As in the case if someone has a very long beard that reaches his stomach, for example, and when he drives or when he eats, it harms him and it endangers his safety. In this case, yes, he may refer to shortening it to a normal length, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Muslima said that I found out that my husband goes to bad sites where lots of girls looking for men and vice versa. I am shocked by my husband because he is practicing Muslim and goes to this kind of sites. Now, I cannot control myself. I scream at him, fight with him. He tries to explain to me in this situation as a good Muslim. What should I do? How to treat my husband? This is a very sad situation. And it is unfortunate because so many of us consider small sins as nothing. And they think that looking at prohibited things is something that is normal, and as long as I pray in the masjid and as long as I read the Quran, Allah would forgive this for me. And in principle, this is correct. Looking at something that is haram is a minor sin. However, ignoring the fact that Allah is watching you, ignoring the fact that mountains are made of small pebbles and stones, and this is what you are actually doing. You're building a mountain of sins that would probably reach the level of major sins. This is far greater than your sin. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the Muslim men do this. I'm not going to justify this for them because there are no justifications acceptable at the sight of Allah. Some men say that we are looking for what we're missing in our wives. Our wives have neglected us because they got pregnant and now they're taking care of the children, they're breastfeeding, etc. They don't have time for us. Whenever we come home, they're always tired and weary. Whatever your excuses are, these are illegitimate excuses, because the tables can turn over you. Because your wife could say the same. How would you feel if she's doing the same? The men would definitely be outraged and say, no, this is unacceptable. We cannot tolerate or accept this. Well, the same thing is happening to your wife. So this is haram. It is a sin, and it destroys your heart. It blackens your heart. It makes your heart as hard as stone, and you're not feeling it. And you're thinking that it is only 5 minutes. That would be next week 10 minutes, and next month it would go to half an hour, and then you would spend like hours literally watching things that you are unable to attain or get, which would kill and sicken your heart by doing this. Now, this is the husband's side. But what about the wife? What should she do? Well, as stated before, this is a minor sin. It's a filthy thing to do, and it is definitely not advisable for you to turn and look the other way. However, you do not kill a mosquito with a cannon. He did not go out with women. He is not communicating with women yet, which eventually will happen. So killing a mosquito with a cannon does not bring you any benefit. You have to look and evaluate and try to fix whatever needs fixing in your appearance and how you appeal to him. And at the same time, this happens only when you have free time. If you don't have free time, you will not spend it in haram. So occupy him with something that is halal, and may Allah Azza wa Jal guide him to the straight path. Maryam from Nigeria. Maryam? Do you have Sister Maryam on the line?
Can you hear me, Sheikh?
I'm not hearing anything, so probably there's a problem in the connection. I hope that the control room would fix it soon. Muhammad is sending a question. He says, shaving the beard, or I misread that, so let me rephrase that. Shaving the head of a grown-up child aged 8 years in aqiqah, is it compulsory? Now, we know that the etiquette of aqiqah is that it should be on the 7th day, and that the child would be circumcised, would be shaved the head, and would be named on the 7th day. So this is the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ, when it came to shaving the head, he said about a boy, remove the harmful thing of his head, meaning shave his head. And this is why scholars differed whether this should apply only for boys or also for girls and boys. And I feel that the reason that the Prophet ﷺ, or the description that the Prophet gave ﷺ to removing the hair fits both males and females. The Prophet ﷺ told them to shave the head of the child because of the discharge that the child was born with, sticking to his scalp, sticking to his hair. So removing it gives the child a healthy scalp and would help in growing the hair in a good and healthy way. And this fits both boys and girls. So therefore, the sunnah, in my opinion, is to do that for both boys and girls. Now, Brother Muhammad is asking about his 8-year-old child. Because he did not shave his head when he was born on the 7th day, now after 8 years, he wants to offer aqiqah. Probably he did not have money at the time. And he wants to shave the head as well. So is this recommended? And the answer is, in my opinion, it is not. The aqiqah is, yes, it is highly recommended, if not mandatory. But to shave the head after so many years, this defies the purpose of it, because the Prophet ﷺ told us that when you shave the head, weigh the hair in silver and give the amount in charity. Now, this is not applicable because the hair is far too longer than before, and it would not be the same. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Asma from Dubai. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sir, I've got two questions. My first question is that if the employee is working in a company and the company is providing health insurance without charging anything from the employees, is it okay that the employee should accept it? And the second question is it okay to apply for a job in a health insurance company? Jazakallah khairan.
Okay, wajazakum. Okay, Asma, first question was, if someone is working for a company and the company is offering to this person medical insurance, which does not require from the employee to pay anything because the company is paying the premium and is taking care of everything connected to that, is it permissible to utilize and use? And the answer is yes, because you are not paying anything for it. It's coming to you as a gift. Where the company got it from, this is not your business. Because according to the regulations of the country, the company is obliged to offer health insurance or medical care, to say the least, to its employees, and therefore there's no problem in doing that or utilizing it to your benefit, inshallah. As for working for an insurance company, the majority of insurance companies are not Islamic, and therefore it is not permissible to work for an insurance company that deals in commercial insurance, because this is a form of gambling. You pay premium of 2,000, you're covered up till $500,000. If nothing happens to you during the year, your 2,000 is gone. But if you required something up to $500,000, we will cover you. This is gambling. It's like buying a lottery ticket, and you may get a Porsche and you may just lose your 500 dirham. This is complete haram. This is gambling without any doubt in it. So the same thing goes with this, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Marina, she says, can I do tayammum instead of wudu? Because of last trimester of pregnancy, I gained much weight and so anemic. I feel so dizziness in that condition. Are we allowed to do tayammum for prayer and for reciting the Quran? Well, tayammum, as we know, is made permissible as an alternative because Allah Azza wa Jal wanted to make things easy for us. So if we are unable to use water. Okay, I'll continue the answer inshallah after taking Mariam's call. Mariam from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, I have a question. I work in an organization in my country. This organization, they decide to open a cooperative society that the members do contribute money. Then if these members that contribute money, they are in need of any form of loan, they take the loan from them, then with a fixed interest. My problem is that I have this lady that is working there, and this lady, I'm interested in her because most of her dressing, she prays and she's a good Muslim. So one day I now asked her that, you know that where you are working now is forbidden in Islam. So she was now trying to explain to me that I know that work in Nigeria is scarce. Secondly, she has a mom and younger ones that she's training, that the mom is hypertensive. She needs a lot of things to take care of herself, and she's not doing anything. So I was like, oh, I don't know what to say. I said, so I'll ask Huda whenever your program is airing, so that you can tell me, so that I can advise her or something.
Sister Maryam, I apologize. We have a problem in the studio, and my earset is not working, and I'm listening to you from a speaker that is like 20 meters far away. I apologize. I could not understand your question. So I would urge you, if you can, kindly send your question to my website, and I think you will find my website and email at the bottom, and I will answer you personally for your questions. Again, I apologize for this technical error. So Tayammum, we go back to Marina's question. Tayammum is made in Islam when there is a problem that prevents a Muslim from using water, such as illness, etc., or he cannot find water to perform ablution with, or to perform ghusl. So Allah Azza wa Jal, whenever there is hardship, this warrants concessions. Allah Azza wa Jal gave us tayammum. Therefore, we have to look into the situation and find out, is it a reasonable hardship or it is nothing? Someone who has a cut in his finger, he says, I cannot make tayammum. It's a small cut. It's not even polluted or infected or nothing. He says, no, I have to make tayammum. This is not logical. Someone who has stomach ache, and he goes into work and comes back, he goes to the gym. When it comes to performing ablution, he says, no, this is too hard for me. I cannot go to the bathroom regularly 5 times a day. No, I have to make tayammum. He said, no, this is not acceptable. In your case, being overweight and having this drowsiness, etc., if you are unable to use water, and your judge is Allah, and it's not an easy thing to be judged by Allah. When you say, yeah, everybody around you may be convinced. You try to convince yourself, but Allah Azza wa Jal knows the fact. If you feel that you cannot use water and this brings a lot of hardship to you, in this case, you can make tayammum. But if you go to the bathroom like 6, 7 times, especially when you're pregnant, you go to the bathroom like 20 times, you can make wudu. You have no problem with that. If you go, who is it? Okay. So you have to evaluate the situation, because this is between you and Allah Azza wa Jal. If you go to the bathroom so many times and you have no problem in that, then as well you can perform wudu there. Even if you don't go to the bathroom, if the water can be brought to you, you must perform wudu where you are, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Kauthar from Dubai.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Salatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, Jazakumullah khair.
I have a doubt.
Okay.
In Surah Al-Isra, ayat number 64, Allah says to Iblis, "Fool the people who follow you, whom you can, among them with your voice." Does this voice mean music?
What ayah is it?
Ayah number 64, Surah Al-Isra.
Okay. وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مَنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ مِنْهُمْ بِصَوْتِكَ. Allah is addressing the Satan. Yes. Okay. So your question, is this music?
Yes. Allah says, "Fool the people whom you can, among them with your voice, make assault on them with your cavalry and infantry." So
Okay.
this voice, does it indicate music?
Okay. Any more questions?
Also, I want to know about refined sugar. Is it halal?
Referring to what?
Because refined white sugar.
Refined white sugar.
I heard in a website that the refining process requires some bones.
Okay.
So I don't know whether this is halal. Even if it is in a halal country, should I use it, or what is the ruling?
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay. Sister Kauthar from Dubai, she's referring to ayah number 64. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-Isra, "Tempt with your call all whom you wish, muster against them all your forces, your cavalry, and your foot soldiers, etc. This ayah was interpreted by Mujahid, one of the great tabi'een and one of the great mufassirin, that his voice, that is Satan's voice, is music or singing. And this is one of the interpretations in this ayah. There are other ayahs that are also referring to this, as in the ayah in the beginning of Surah Luqman, or the ayah at the end of Surah Al-Najm, where companions of the Prophet ﷺ would refer to it as referring to singing. And singing can be halal and can be haram. If you're singing normal lyrics, like in singing poetry, and it has good meanings, good words, there's nothing vulgar, there's nothing haram in it, this is halal to sing and to listen to, providing it's not accompanied by musical instruments. Because musical instruments is totally prohibited in Islam. And this is a consensus of all four schools of thought. The school of Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal. They all agree that music is prohibited, with the exception of the duf. And this is permitted only in limited cases, as in the case of weddings, or in the case of Eid, or in the case of someone of great weight and value in Islam coming or arriving from long travel. Other than that, it's totally prohibited through the verses of the Quran, through the authentic hadith in Bukhari and elsewhere, that the Prophet ﷺ totally prohibited it. Therefore, it is something that nowadays only people of ignorance try to make it permissible. And if it were to be permissible, why would we say it's haram? What's wrong in allowing people to enjoy something that is halal? There's nothing wrong in that. However, had it been halal, wallahi, we would have told everyone, go ahead and listen. No problem in doing that. But because the evidence from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and from the great scholars of Islam all agree to saying that musical instrument is haram, we say that it is. Her second question, Sister Kawthar, was that white sugar that is refined. And she says that she heard that during the process, bones are used, etc. Well, in Islam, we have a legal maxim, a fiqhi rule, that states certainty is not removed by doubt. And you apply this in everything. So everything you see around you is pure. You cannot say, these tissues, there is a possibility it is impure, there is a najasa on it. Maybe a child urinated on it. Maybe a dog did this or that. Maybe take it and throw it into the dustbin. Everything you see in front of you is pure, unless there is certain proof to get this, which is certain, to be uncertain. So as long as I know that these things in front of me are pure, these things are halal, I consume them. Foods all over the world, I consider them to be halal. I drink this juice without having any problem. Now I would say, Akhi, there might be something dissolved in it. Maybe they've added something. Maybe in the process of making strawberry, they used alcohol. Maybe has nothing to do in our deen. Otherwise, I'll open a very big gate of OCD to shaitan to come proudly through and destroy my life. Maybe when I got married to my wife, I didn't say I accept her marriage. Maybe I just nodded. This means that my marriage is not halal and my children are illegitimate. I'm gonna hang myself. What is this? So many people fall under this because of shaitans playing with them and whispering to them. So now toothpaste is haram because we've read a report saying that it has pork ingredients in it, and likewise chocolate bars, and likewise medications, etc. All of these are speculations. And you cannot build your deen on speculations. You cannot treat people and deal with things and live a normal life just by speculations. You have a proof, then put it forward. And if it's just hearsay, then I would not pay any attention to it, and I would, until today, use this refined sugar and have no problem with it, inshallah. Brother Azam from Riyadh.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, sir.
Sheikh, my question is regarding the topic of Khilafah. What is our understanding and what is your understanding and concept of Khilafah, and what is the concept of Khilafah Minhaj al-Nabuwah? Because I have came across certain hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has promised that Khilafah Minhaj al-Nabuwah will rise again. So where does this parliamentary and democracy and monarchy stand? If there is a role model in front of us that they are following Islam, they accept the sovereignty of Islam and everything, will it be called as Khilafah?
Okay, Brother Azam's question was straight to the point. What is the concept of Khilafah? Khilafah is succession. So someone who is chosen to lead the country, or someone who is succeeded by the one who came before him, it would become the Khalifa or the ruler. Now, there are two ways of looking at this. The first way is the ideal way, which is the Khilafah, as was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, the Umayyad state or Khilafah, or likewise the Al-Abbasiyya, then Uthman Khilafah. All of these had a pattern that they ran through. Nowadays, with the Muslim Ummah scattered and divided in so many states and countries, this is not applicable because it is almost difficult, if not impossible, to do it with all the divisions within the Ummah. Now to focus on this alone and leave everything else, like Hizb al-Tahrir is doing, or what they call Hizb al-Mujahideen or al-Muhajirin or whatever, and focus only on al-Khilafah, neglecting the Aqeedah, neglecting the implementation of the Islamic law in our lives, in our societies, in everywhere we go, and making this a make it or break it issue. This is totally unacceptable. To you and me, Brother Azam, do we have any say in Khilafah? Definitely not. They'll throw you in jail in 5 seconds, faster than a Ferrari, from 0 to 100, maybe in 2 seconds. So what to do? Akhi, we have a ladder made of 30 steps. Khilafah is step number 30. What to do? Focus on that, you'll fall and break your neck. What to do? Start from step 1. The Prophet ﷺ stayed in Mecca for 13 years. Doing what? Asking for Khilafah? He was denied from fighting back to people who oppressed him and fought against him. For 13 years, he told his companions, refrain from doing anything. Don't raise a hand. Don't retaliate. And they're complaining, but this is Allah's orders. So for 13 years, he kept on trying to grow and to cultivate the fear of Allah, the hope in Allah, the love of Allah, the knowledge of the day of the judgment, knowing and believing the correct aqeedah that Allah owns everything. Then, when he went to Medina, things differed. Now, at the moment, we are in the Makki period. You have to look around you. People are worshipping the Prophet ﷺ. People are implementing laws other than the law of the Quran and Sunnah, man-made laws. People are so far away from the Quran, they don't even know what the Quran is. They cannot differentiate between Hadith and Quran, and they're using so many fabricated Hadiths. The way we deal with our families, with spouses, with children, with neighbors, is not related to Islam. So to just sit back and say Khilafah, 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 this is wrong. At the moment, with such a division, each ruler of a country is responsible for that country, and he has the pledge of allegiance of his people to him. So they must obey him, and he must rule Islamically with what pleases Allah Azza wa Jal. Our role is not to look so up, our necks will break. We have to look at the fundamentals. We have to look at what Allah wants us to do, and that is to spread the truth, to teach people Aqeedah, to teach people proper Islam, to abide by the Quran and Sunnah. If the base and if the masses abide by the Quran and Sunnah, what's on top would definitely have to coincide and follow. But when the bases and the masses are all far away from the Quran and the Sunnah, you would not expect anything less than that to be up in the hierarchy, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Rida or Riza, oh, I forgot. Nadia from Saudi, apologize.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, Sheikh, I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question is, for example, if I start Zuhr prayer, and in the very beginning I remember that I didn't pray Fajr, can I change intention during the prayer, or I have to break the prayer and start again? And my second question is...
One minute. Nadia,
hello?
1 minute.
Yes.
If you started Dhuhr prayer, what happens for you to break it? The children cry?
No. If I remember that I missed my Fajr prayer, and I have to pray first Fajr and then Zuhr.
Okay.
So I can change my intention during the prayer. I will make the intention for Fajr, or I have to break Zuhr and start again.
Okay, second question.
Okay, my second question is, if any person asks you to give the loan for 2-3 months, and you feel that maybe he will not return, and you refuse it, am I sinful in that way, if refusing in a nice way? Is it a sin, or we can do it even if we have the money, but you are scared to from someone that maybe they will not return it?
Okay, I will answer your question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, Nadia's question is pretty straightforward. She started Dhuhr prayer, and while she was praying Dhuhr, she remembered that she missed Fajr. So, can she change her intention to make that prayer Fajr? Or should she continue with her prayer? The answer is, she must continue with her prayer, finish Dhuhr 4 rak'ahs, and then pray 2 rak'ahs of Fajr. Because if she changed her intention within the prayer, she would not be praying neither Fajr nor Dhuhr. Both would be nullified, and it would be considered for her voluntary prayer. So, alhamdulillah, due to forgetfulness, as long as she started praying Dhuhr, she should continue to pray Dhuhr and then pray Fajr afterwards. The order is mandatory. This is without any doubt. But this obligation falls when you are ignorant or when you have forgotten, as in the case of Sister Nadia. Her second question is very usual. People get this. Someone comes to me and asks for a loan for 3 months. I have the money and I can give him, but I have bad experience with this person, or I heard few people complaining that he borrows and does not give back. So am I sinful if I don't give him? The answer is no. Lending people is not an obligation. It's not mandatory. Even if you have money, it's something that is highly recommended. The reward is so enormous, it is unbelievable. If you lend someone, let's say 5,000 riyals for a month, and he gives it back, and then he borrows another 5,000 riyals for any given period, a month or a week or so, and he gives it back, you have the 5,000 in your pocket. Allah Azza wa Jal would reward you as if you given for charity 5,000 riyals, because you lent it twice. And if you give a person 5,000 riyals and you give him a date and he doesn't pay it back and asks for an extension, and you give him another month, and again he doesn't pay it back, Allah would give it to you as if you have given 5,000 for charity. And if you set a third date for him and he doesn't give it back, for each day Allah would give you 5,000 riyals as charity. No investment in the world can give you this profit. Nowhere. So lending people is good, but throwing your money in the dustbin is not good. So you have to know where you give your money or who you give your money to. Now, no one says, oh yes, hands like this, fingers like this. A'udhu billah. This is unacceptable and unimaginable. How can you describe such a thing? So, oh, you said Allah has hands. Yes, but is Allah's hand like ours? Can we even imagine it or think of it? No. We believe that Allah has hands. We believe that Allah Azza wa Jal has a face. We believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has eyes. We believe that Allah Azza wa Jal has fingers, as He described Himself, or was described by His Prophet ﷺ. But we don't know how it is. And we don't know the what form it is. So we believe in it as it is. But we do not simulate it and resemble it to our own hands. May Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us. We cannot do this. When we say that an ant has legs, and an elephant has legs, and human beings have legs, are there any resemblance? Definitely not. So Allah has the highest example. It's the same thing. We only describe Allah by what He described Himself. Now, to say that Allah has a body, or Allah has a form, or Allah has a shape, or Allah Azza wa Jal has an object, this is something that Allah did not describe Himself as such. Allah did not tell us that He has a body. And Allah Azza wa Jal did not tell us that He does not have a body. So this is something that we should refrain from addressing or speaking. If someone says Allah doesn't have body, which means Allah is nothing, and it's vanished, and there's nothing, there's no Allah Azza wa Jal, they said, no, this is definitely not intended and not acceptable. But we say that yes, Allah whom we worship is described by having so and so and so. We do not say that He's a body, but definitely He's not emptiness. He's not vacuum, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the Lord to be worshipped and to be described with the beautiful attributes, and has the beautiful names, and has the power, the knowledge, etc. So I hope this answers your call. Iman from Nigeria. Iman.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
Assalamu
rahmatullah.
alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one is about lending money, borrowing money.
Okay, lending money.
A friend of mine lent money to her sister for the past like 2-3 years. Whenever she asks her, the sister will get angry with her and say, I will pay. And she doesn't want to pay again, I don't know.
Okay.
Another one again, a mother gave the daughter to keep money for her, and she can get, she's supposed to give zakat from that money. But the old woman is saying that no, because she doesn't sell and buy, she doesn't want to give out zakat. The money has been with the friend for almost 4 years. For the past 2 years, the mother now said no, because she doesn't do business with the money, she will not give out zakat from that money. So because it's her mother, she doesn't want to offend the mother. What would she do? How can she now convince her? Because she has been telling her that she's supposed to give out zakat. So but she's saying that because she doesn't do business with the money, she will not give us zakat after the money.
Okay,
So
Sister Iman. Sister Iman, you said that she borrowed the money for 4 years. Is the one who gave the money asking?
Her sister, yes.
Is she asking for it every year, and the sister is saying, I don't have?
That I will say, and sometimes she gets angry with the sister. She will not even talk to the sister because of that issue. And she doesn't give any excuse not to, that I don't have the money, because she borrowed the money and said she wants to do business. And then she didn't tell her whether the business did not work out or not. She didn't tell any reason. She didn't say any reason for not saying that.
Okay, I will try to answer your question, inshallah, generally. Inshallah. Okay. Sister Iman's question is that A gave B money, and for 4 years, every time A asks for the loan to be paid back, B says, yes, I will, but does not pay it, and is not going to pay it. He doesn't, or she doesn't say that I'm not going to pay it, but she says, inshallah, okay, tomorrow, next week, and the money never comes. If I understood the question about the mothers, that the sister, does she pay zakat on that or not? Well, the answer is as follows. The zakat, if I gave someone money, I have to pay zakat for that money every single year. And this is the most authentic opinion of scholars. Because the money is mine. It's like being kept in a bank. No, now it's being kept with someone. Now, if that person, the due date, the maturity date arrives, and I tell him, give me the money as promised, and he says, wallahi, I'm broke, I don't have money. Or he says, yes, I will give you, but he doesn't. He has money, but he's not willing to give it back. So scholars say, from this moment onwards, there is no zakat until I receive my money or portion of it. And if this poor person is unable to give the money back to me in 5 years, when he gives it to me after 5 years, I give the zakat of 1 year only, not on the 5 years, because he was unable to give it back. Likewise, the rich person who is denying me my right, denying paying me my loan, if he does this for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, there's no zakat during this period until I get portion or whole of my money. I pay zakat for 1 year, which is 2.5%. So I hope I got your question correct, Sister Iman, and I apologize for the delay. A brother who did not put his name says, I have a best friend in Islam who is good at doing good deeds, mashallah. And sometimes I feel jealous, thinking that I'm not able to do what he does, and seeing his spirituality, since when I do any good deeds that he didn't do, I feel happy, like great, and like beating him in a race. And whenever he does it and I didn't do it, I feel sad. Is this bad, Sheikh? I will take Ahmed from Oman's call and then answer this brother's question. Ahmed?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Nice to see you after a long time, Sheikh. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazak ya akhi, barakallah feekum.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
I heard from you that the washing face is one of the farad in wudu.
Okay.
So does washing ears is also part of washing face in wudu? Is it a faraid? That's my first question.
I did not understand the difference. What's the difference between a pillar and farida?
Like it's a pillar in washing face is a pillar in wudu, right? Like
Correct.
farad in wudu.
Yes.
If you do not wash, the wudu is not accepted.
Yes.
So washing ears is also a farad in wudu. That's the first question.
Okay.
Second question is that there is a scholar in South India who says that zakat or gold need not be given every year. If it is sufficient to give once in lifetime for that particular jewel, as it is not proven from the Sunnah that every year zakat has to be given for the gold. This was the second question.
Okay.
The third question is, Sheikh, if a person wants to pay 12 sunnat zakat per day, due to the restraint in work, if he is not able to pray on time this 12 sunnat zakat, is it okay if he prays them in the free time whenever he gets, like in Maghrib, after Isha, or after Zuhr, after, like that, in order to make this 12 zakat?
Why did he miss these prayers?
Because he works in some hypermarket kind of place where it's a prayer hall. Whenever he reaches the prayer hall, immediately after Adhan, they start to pray, and he cannot pray his sunnah before Zuhr. So he makes it up after the Zuhr Salah.
Okay.
So
I will ask you a
sometimes
question.
due to work, he cannot pray this also because of the time consumption, and he has to open the shop. Is it okay if he has to pray somewhere like before Asr or after Maghrib in case if he misses?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Hayyak Allah. So the brother's question about his best friend, competing between two in doing good things is a positive thing. And definitely it is encouraged, providing it doesn't reach the level of competing in a negative way. So I compete with you in doing good and righteous deeds. MashaAllah, this is good. Abu Bakr used to compete with Umar. Umar says, may Allah be pleased with him, no matter how many times I've competed with Abu Bakr, he always came first. So one day I said to myself, today I will beat Abu Bakr. So I brought half of my possessions, half of my wealth, and I put it in front of the Prophet ﷺ. And I said, O Prophet of Allah, this is for Allah and His Messenger. So the Prophet said, what did you leave to your family? I said, similar to it, meaning that he gave 50% of his wealth. A while later, Abu Bakr came with a lot of things and he put it in front of the Prophet ﷺ and said that this is for Allah and His Messenger. The Prophet said, ﷺ, Abu Bakr, what did you leave to your family? And he said, I left to them Allah and His Messenger. Meaning this is 100% of what I own. Umar said, by Allah, I will not race with you. I will not compete with you again. This is inhuman. No, it's not the right word. This is not natural. I cannot compete with you. You do things that I cannot do. Now, their hearts were clean, pure, white as snow. They had no grudges. Umar did not hate it when Abu Bakr gave 100% of what he owns. On the contrary, he felt that this is too much and he envied him, but he cannot compete with him. He didn't hate it. Now what you're having, Akhi, is sadness when he does things you cannot do. This is not a very good feeling. On the contrary, you should try to compete with him. But if you cannot catch up, the least is to be happy that your brother had done something good. And if you do something which he failed to compete with you in, you shouldn't be happy saying, well, I beat him, because then your intention is not to please Allah Azza wa Jal. Your intention is to beat him in this race, and may Allah Azza wa Jal guide us to, you and I, to doing what pleases Him. Tayyib from Dubai.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I want to ask what is Hadith Qudsi?
Yes.
I don't know what is Hadith Qudsi.
Okay, I will answer you, Tayyib. Tayyib had a question, and he's saying, what is Al-Hadith Al-Qudsi? Now, we know that we have Quran, and Quran is the word of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is Allah's speech. It is not created. It is Allah's attribute. And it was revealed by the angelic messenger to the human messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It is miraculous in its formation. It is a form of worship to recite it, and you cannot recite anything other than it in prayers. And it begins with chapter 1, Al-Fatiha, and it ends with chapter 114, Surah An-Nas. This is Al-Quran. Now, Al-Hadith Al-Qudsi is from Allah Azza wa Jal, but it is not as miraculous as the Quran. Allah did not challenge people to produce something like Al-Hadith Al-Qudsi. Allah challenged people to produce something similar to the Quran, and the challenge still exists till the Day of Judgment, and no one will be able to do this, and we know that for a fact. So many have tried, and it was funny, hilarious, but nothing close. So Al-Hadith Al-Qudsi, the difference of opinion among scholars whether it is the wordings of Allah or the wordings of the Prophet ﷺ, meaning that the meaning is from Allah, but the words are from the Prophet ﷺ. Because we know that Al-Quran is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Words and meaning. And the Sunnah, the prophetic Hadith, is from the Prophet ﷺ. In words and also in meaning, because it's a revelation to him to do this. And if he does a mistake or makes an error, Allah Azza wa Jal would immediately rectify it and correct him, as in the case when he frowned to the blind man. Allah Azza wa Jal revealed the surah of Abasa, when he frowned and turned away from the blind man Abdullah ibn Maktoum. So this is the greatest, or the difference between the Quran and Al-Hadith Al-Qudsi. The final question with us on the email from Wahid. Wahid says, here in Chennai, one scholar argues that pants below the ankles are not a sign of arrogance in modern times, rich and poor. And he says that the Prophet ﷺ would not have permitted Abu Bakr to fall his dress below the ankles, as it was a result of big belly nature of Abu Bakr, etc. This is an issue of dispute among scholars. Yes, it is true that lowering your garment below the ankles, some say it's haram, some say it's not recommended, makruh, disliked. And whenever there is a dispute among scholars, Allah tells us to refer to the Quran and to the Sunnah. So having the majority of Muslims saying that it is disliked does not mean that it is disliked, because there are a number of scholars, who say that it is forbidden and prohibited. So who should we follow? The majority? The majority were never a criteria in truth and false. You cannot say that this decides which is true and which is false, the number of scholars. No, what decides is what follows the Quran and Sunnah. So if you go back to the Quran and Sunnah, you will find that, first of all, Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, was thin, not with a big belly. And he says to the Prophet ﷺ that I tie it as best I can, but it goes loose and it falls, and I pull it up. So he tries his level best to keep it above the ankles, but sometimes it loosens up by itself, not going to the tailor's shop and telling him to have it below the ankles. Secondly, he got the exemption from the Prophet ﷺ, who told him, you're not one of them. Thirdly, there are two different punishments. There is a punishment for someone who lowers his garment below the ankles, but he has no pride in doing so, and this is punishable in fire. The Prophet said, whatever exceeds the ankles, this is in hell. And the second punishment is for those whom Allah Azza wa Jal does not look at them, because they drag their garments in pride. So if someone does this out of pride and arrogance, then he has these four punishments, where the Prophet said that there are three whom Allah Azza wa Jal would not look at them and would punish them and would not purify them and would not speak to them. And the first one is al-musbil, the one who drags his trousers or his garment. So this is a major sin, and this is a difference, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question that nowadays I've seen many people wearing plastic bracelet type or bangle in type around their wrist. That computes their daily calories burn, or some data that how much time they sleep, and then how much calories they have burned and how much they have eaten, something like that. Is it allowed in Islam to wear that one?
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. And before we conclude, I think I lost my earpiece. No problem, inshallah. I'll answer these two questions and leave. Ahmed from Oman was asking, is washing the face a pillar or a fard? I could not understand the question. Washing the face in wudu is one of the 6 pillars of wudu, And it is a fard. You have to do it. It's a must. If you don't wash your face, your wudu is invalid. His second question is that there is a scholar in India who says that gold zakat must be paid once in a lifetime. And this is baseless. I don't know where this so-called scholar brought this opinion from, but we have so many people claiming to be scholars and they are not scholars, unfortunately. People mix the roles of people of knowledge. They mix a student of knowledge with a scholar, a da'i with a scholar, etc. The difference of opinion is whether zakat is mandatory upon gold and silver, jewelry that women wear or not. This is the difference of opinion. The most authentic opinion that it is mandatory. And this is the opinion of Sheikh bin Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen, and it's mandatory every year. If zakat was only mandatory once in a lifetime, why did Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, fight with the apostates, those who apostatized and rejected giving zakat to Abu Bakr? Why did he fight them as murtaddeen? So this is definitely not correct. Now, his third question about a person who misses sunnah prayer, should he make them up? If the reason is legitimate, the answer is yes, he may make them up. Muhammad from Saudi, he's saying that people wear sort of bracelets around their wrist made of plastic or made of something like the one with the smartphones. So it calculates how many miles they walked, the calories they have burnt, and heartbeat probably, etc., blood pressure. Is it permissible to use? There's nothing wrong in using this. What's not permissible to use are the other colorful bracelets that they wear, signifying that they are fans of football club so-and-so, or for any other reason. Men do not wear bracelets. They wear watches. They wear some things that have value, such as knowing your blood pressure, etc. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech.